Hi, Susan Clare, GourmetQuilter here. Just going to show you how to have a little bit of fun with maybe some orphan blocks or just some leftovers. Do we all have some orphan blocks? These are some of my orphan blocks. Orphan blocks are just when they're left over, perhaps we've made too many for a quilt or we've been trying one out and it's just a block that doesn't really have a home. Sometimes there's two or three of the same sort of block, sometimes there's incomplete blocks. There's all sorts of reasons why we have odd blocks lying around. I do a lot of samples when I'm writing my patterns. I need to try blocks out to make sure that everything's exactly right for size, for the videos sometimes. Talking of videos, not so long ago I did a video on how to quilt as you go using some real leftover bits and pieces, and we made a couple of rectangles. Not sure if you remember, but they looked a little bit like, well, something like this. So I was just joining on bits and pieces onto the batting. So what I've done this time is I've made it into a little, like a gift bag. And I thought that was kind of cute. So I thought we could talk about how we can use some of the orphan blocks or simply leftovers and make up bits and pieces if we've got lots of oddments sitting around that we want to use up, and make some fun different shaped gift bags. So we've done other bags, and I can just think of so many delicious things that could go inside that bag. So what I would suggest is that, as you can see, I've got more orphan or unclaimed blocks. We could call them any number of things. And I'm suggesting that we use the hook and loop or Velcro strip for the fastening. And so what we really need to do, this one here I've already started. This was two rectangular blocks. I was working out some samples to do some of these elongated triangles for the rectangles. And I thought that would be a good way to use those up into a skinnier, long gift bag. So what I've got here is two blocks that I was making. They were a trial for something, and I thought it's time to use them up. I've simply joined the two blocks together. So it doesn't really matter what size blocks you're using. Any size pretty much works. It's just going to give you a slightly different shape, size bag. And how nice is that? And this is definitely time to be starting to prepare for gift-giving season. Well, any time is gift-giving season. Any time is definitely gift-receiving season. You might have some nice Christmassy fabrics. You might have some other fun floral fabrics. Perhaps somebody's really a keen gardener and likes something that would come in a floral fabric. All those sorts of things. Or maybe you just make them just because. So I've joined two of my blocks together here. And then just to make it a little bit longer, so it's not square, it really, when it's folded, it works quite well if it's a rectangle this way, so longer this way than that way, but there's no sort of exact proportions that matter on this. So I just thought it was quite nice for that little bit of a stripe down there, and that's the edge that's going to take the hook and loop fastening. So all I've done is join the two blocks together, add a strip to the side, then I've added just a piece of batting. Again, great way to use up some leftover batting pieces. I've just popped it's just a thin batting. I think this was a piece of bamboo batting left over down the side of a quilt. And now I've backed it with this, and I've just bagged it out. I think you probably are familiar with the term bagging out, where you're just joining it all the way around, right sides together, and then you turn it out. I just clipped the corners just a little bit so there was no bulk on the corner. And then I've pressed it out so that all those edges, and I press it from the outside, from the right side, so that in case you were going to see a little bit of this, hopefully you don't. This is the edge that you're seeing on the right side. And then there's a gap. You have to leave a gap for turning when you bag out. And probably just a 3 or 4 inch gap is enough. Just in one of the sides. It doesn't particularly matter which side you leave it in. And I press those edges in, that 1/4 inch of the seam allowance, the same. But I'm just leaving it open because when we join it up, that'll get enclosed in the joining process, unless you wanted to hand slip stitch it, which I did not. So I've got my piece ready here. Now, if you wanted to quilt that, if it's not already quilted, you might want to do something like that now. And all I've actually done is just a straight line down the center here. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. One, I didn't want to be quilting it. I didn't think it needed quilting on this scale, a small item like this, but it's nice to have a little bit of batting in there. But also that gives me the halfway point. By going down the center there, that's given me the halfway point. And I did the same thing here. This one's got the halfway stitching down. And this one here, because these pieces were pre-quilted, because it was stitch and flip onto the batting, I just put a lining inside, which is not therefore quilted, and the same thing, I did a straight line down the join of the two blocks. They were rectangular blocks, so I didn't add a strip on those, but these two, because they're square blocks, I just thought that extra strip would be helpful. So all we have to do now that we know how big our piece is have some of the hook and loop fastening. So you just need enough for half, so from the centre out, but less ½ inch, I found works really well, of both the hook and the loop. And so what we're going to do now is position these on. Now you could position that right to the very edge, but let's remember that we've got to be able to open this, so you need a little bit of something to grab onto to open that. So I like to come down just a little bit from the edge and then just bring it across a little bit, but you want to leave most of the gap at this end because we're going to join that end there, and I'm going to do it so that you'll see. But you can see that this edge here is joined, but by having all these nice finished edges, it works really well. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine now, and I'm going to position this so that there's just a little bit of a gap, maybe an 1/8 of an inch at this end before that centre line of sewing, and there's just maybe an 1/8 of an inch or a touch more if you like along there, but in this case I'd like it to sit within that stripe. And I'm going to go to the sewing machine. Now I should mention that I have got a heavier needle on the sewing machine. I've gone up a size to slightly heavier weight because of sewing on this, and also some of the later sewing, not so much for this part, but when we join it together it can be just a little bit bulky. So I'm just going to start just in from the edge, and this is like a top stitch, so it's going to show both sides, well, the other side, and so I'm just going to back up to the edge so that the stitching does go to the edge, but we haven't started on the edge. And then I'm just going to stitch all the way along, keeping that as straight as reasonable. So much fun to give things in handmade little bags. And so I'm going to keep going all the way, and I'm just going to position this one on the other side, equal distance from that centre line of stitching that we had previously done. Make sure that we're at the same height, and just keep going all the way along. Finish it at the end, and then I'm going to come back and do the second row of stitching on the other side. And you just might want to snip off if there's any little threads at the end. I did do a little back stitch so that it locked off nicely at the beginning and the end. And so now we've got a piece here, and we can close it over, and we can close it over, in fact we want to close it over, because what we're going to do now is join this side seam, just the side seam, don't come along the bottom edge as well. And this is the same that I've got my little opening in that I used for turning, and so I'm going to have that on the front. So I'm going to start at this edge down here, and I'm going to stitch very close to the edge, so less than an 1/8 of an inch if you can, or an 1/8 of an inch, all the way up to the end up there. So starting from this end and making sure that this part here that was open is everything's stitched. Sorry, everything is level, so that when you stitch it, it will all be enclosed. Again, I'm just going to start in ever so slightly and back up a little bit. So this is why I've got the slightly heavier needle in. It might sound just a little bit different, but it's because it's going through quite a lot of layers here. And I probably am doing approximately an 1/8. I'm keeping my fabric edge inside the foot. Now the foot I have got on, if you have a banana, is my 1/4 inch foot, so it shows me pretty much where 1/8 is. So I'm probably stitching about an 1/8 in, but no more. This is over that bit that was open. Just make sure your edges stay together. And then come right through, right to the very end. And then do a little back stitch to hold that. And we are nearly done. And so now we've got a upside down bag, which can be opened at the other end, of course. But what we're going to do now is open out this edge, and this is where it's so nice to work with these enclosed edges when we did the bagging out, because it means that we can do all this sort of thing without having to turn and worry about little corners and things. Now, because I've done the stitching line down the center there, I can now match that with my seam that I've just created there, and we're just going to come all the way along this edge now. So if this is bothering you because it's like that, you can open it out and it'll hopefully sit for you, otherwise you could clip it. Now the area you're going to have to be most careful is this seam here going over this bulk here. So just take it super slow and it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm just going to do exactly the same sort of sewing as we've just done on the bottom edge here. So when you get into this bit here, just take it slowly. If you just go slow, it doesn't usually have a problem getting through that bulk there. And then it's fine to keep going. And again, just a little back stitch at the bottom. And there we have a fun use of a couple of Orphan Blocks for a fun gift bag for something delicious, delightful, any number of things. This one here, which I haven't actually stitched yet, this one's going to make a fun bag. This is because it's longer. It would make something, perhaps you might want to put a bottle of something in if you make bottles of, oh, imagine some nice cordial made in it, or some sauce, or anything. It could be any number of long things. It could be a pair of shoes, or maybe you're going to make some shoes. That would be fun. But so you can see how you can use all these different shape blocks to make different size bags, using things up, or simply using up some of your fabric leftovers to do this fun way to use all sorts of shapes and things, but still turn it into something that's quite useful. It could go on the wall, it could go on the bed, it could go any number of places, or it can go into a gift bag. And how delicious is that? So that was just an idea for some possible orphan blocks or leftovers for some gift bags. Thank you.